into this new um, COVID-19, having to wear masks and also keeping our crew to follow the directions when we are with interacting with the clients. It's kind of hard to be always on top of things when they have to wear a mask and they forget. So it's hard to adopt. Thank
Thank
you.
you. And we have Brenda Santian.
Go ahead. Hola, mi nombre es Brenda Santillán y trabajo con Stacy en WITEC y soy encargada de la seguridad del trabajador. La gran talento que hemos tenido para nosotros es podernos adaptar usando la mascarilla durante el verano, ya que los trabajadores empiezan a sudar y no pueden ver.
Perfect, thank you. And we have Brian Ortiz.
Hi, I'm Brian Ortiz with Mosaico Safety. I think the biggest challenge for me personally has been the distance. You know, I think our culture is very, very warm, it's all about getting together and, you know, meeting people and hugging people and all that stuff. So this whole virtual stuff is kind of, it's the opposite of what we like to do. You know, for example, Bernice, te mando un abrazo. You know, we would like to be closer to each other, and it's hard times for everybody, and we just can't. You know, even when you have people in the hospital and stuff, family members, sometimes you can't even go see them. So I think the distance has been the biggest challenge, but I hope that you're all doing good and know that there's a lot of support and a lot of people thinking of you, even though you don't see them. And yeah, that's been the biggest challenge.
Great, thank you. Cameron Starr.
Hello, this is Cameron Starr with Energy Trust of Oregon. I think for me, the biggest challenge is really just as an organization evolving and making sure that we support businesses, customers, trade allies through the what seem at times to be unsurmountable odds, and we're all getting through it together. So just making sure that we're here to support on the energy efficiency and renewable side. So thank you.
Thank you. Carrie Walters.
Thank you and good afternoon. My name is Carrie Waters and I serve as Contract Equity Coordinator with the Portland Bureau of Transportation. And the biggest challenge for me in navigating COVID this year was trying to identify which aspects of contracting that I should really focus in on. So, you know, we had a hiring freeze at PBOT. So I was told that we were going to be bringing any and all of our consulting work in-house for design. So I was focusing on construction for quite some time. But then I learned that, you know, because of the hiring freeze and because we still have money coming through, that we would need to get these projects out. So I've been back in the consulting realm, well, both consulting and construction. So I'd love to chat with anyone who's involved with design and construction and capital project delivery for our streets and transportation infrastructure. So thank you for letting me be here. I'm going to drop a link for a big project that we have that'll be out to bid next month, Southwest Capitol Highway. It's going to be a big one. So thank you again.
And we'll head over to Chris Huntington.
Hi, everybody. Chris Huntington. I'm with the Construction Contractors Board, and by far the biggest issue for us has been trying to figure out what is it that the construction community is going to need from us with all of the changing circumstances, whether that's COVID, you know, social distancing, the wildfires. We took a call today from somebody who's lost their home and just needed a few extra weeks to get their renewal in, and just trying to figure out what is it that they need in terms of if it's education classes and we're moving that online, Where does the construction industry need from us? How can we shift the way that we do what we do to try to help you guys out? And that's been a challenge, and the issues just keep rolling at us, but we've been trying to stay ahead of it.
Thank you. And we'll move on to Diego.
Hi there. Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Diego Ochoa. I work for Intel. I'm a facilities contracts manager. Our biggest challenge this year, I mean, who would have thought that we would have been dealing with two force majeures, right? We have COVID, and then we had the fire situation that came about. So for us, it was really, safety and keeping our workforce safe, and then keeping the pipeline of products available to our customers, especially, given how much we're all working from home now. So thank you.
Thank you. Eric Martinez.
There you go. Hey, thanks. I'm Eric Martinez with Nexus Electrical Group. I'd say that I do commercial and industrial electrical. I'd say as a smaller contractor, it's, I guess, delays in projects and trying to fill the voids with projects being delayed, and then realizing that it's going to take a little bit more manpower. The job's going to take a little bit longer because of the social distancing and the lack of individuals in a certain amount of space. So I guess that'd be my biggest challenge. So thank you.
Thank you. And Ernesto.
Hi, my name is Ernesto Melo. I'm with Comfort Installation Specialist, and I'm driving. Don't do that. Actually, I'm just parking here. So basically, my biggest challenge is, do the jobs a little more slow and to save people, homeowners, children, especially children, because we specialize more in the retrofitting jobs. So I think that is the major challenge for us, just to get a little more slow, more time, and get it done obviously right, and be in safety conditions for everybody, especially for homeowners and kids and employees. So yeah, that is what's my biggest challenge. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have Faye Birch.
Hey everyone, this is my first time joining you. I appreciate you allowing me to attend today. I'm with the TriMet Stacy and Whitbeck project, and my business is FM Birch and Associates. One of my challenges is certainly from COVID is the lack of getting together for meetings, and although I'm kind of getting used to this online kind of thing too as well.
Thank you. Gina Valencia.
Buenas noches a todos. Gina Valencia from Portland Community College. I'm really happy to hear Spanish spoken in the Zoom gathering. And my kids are about to come out. My biggest challenge has been just keep it all together and be motivated, to motivate others to join. To join in conversation about projects, about how we do things better. We are really worried about the students at PCC who are not able to attend classes, but we have figure out every system to do that. But we still have other operational things that we need to take care of. Locally, our capital projects are moving ahead. But yeah, mental health and keeping motivated for myself and for others, and definitely a challenge.
Thank you. And Gladys Botwell.
Buenas tardes, Gladys Monroy Botwell con Insurance by Design. El desafío más grande que yo he visto es el no poder conectar con los empresarios en persona. For me, insurance is about relationship building, and especially health insurance, and not being able to connect in person with business owners has been the biggest challenge I've seen. I've been able to get around it through Zoom and videos and training through videos, but it's still not the same, because for me, being the Latina, I'm a hugger, you know, and being able to connect and talk to people. So for me, that's been the biggest challenge. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. Ugo Zavala.
Hello.
We hear you.
Hi. Thanks, LatinoBuilt, for putting this meeting together. Biggest challenge for Zavala Corporation has been, like everybody else saying, COVID came with in a surprise to us, like adapting new ways of working, like having people working from home, having fear in employees of getting sick at work, schedule delays in projects. Some projects going away. A couple of our projects went away that we already had contract with, but owners decided last minute not to build anymore until they see what's gonna shake out about the COVID and economy and all that kind of stuff. So that's our biggest challenge we had.
Thank you. I'm going to move on to Jenny Rodriguez.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny Rodriguez, and I'm with Twirl Advertising and Design. I'm also a founding member and marketing chair for LatinoBuilt. Gosh, I have several challenges. I think one of the primary, one is self-care. There's been a huge increased demand for online presence and digital assets and materials. And so I feel as if I'm working on the clock and I just haven't had enough time to actually go out, walk, and exercise. So I'd have to say physical health is a huge one for me. And like Gladys, we're accustomed to meeting people in person. I'm a hugger, so some of that in-person connection has been lost. And then lastly, I think just a little Zoom fatigue. So bear with me when I come on and off camera.
Thank you, Jenny. John Cardenas.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's so nice to see all of your tiny little faces on the screen. But I'm so glad that we're all here together. I work at Prosper Portland I'm a senior project manager in charge of our construction equity efforts. That means making sure that we have people of color and women working on all of our real estate development projects. We have a lot of work coming up in the next few months and definitely over the next year for sure. And the biggest challenge that we've had, that I've had personally, is maintaining quality relationships with all of you guys and continuing to get to meet you guys and continuing to hear what you guys need and making sure that I'm responsive to that and trying to build these relationships over Zoom. It's possible, but it's not the best way to do things. I'm so glad that you guys are here, that you guys are sticking with it. Your business is important to me. It's important to Prosper Portland. And I want to make sure that I'm conveying that message to you. So if you ever need anything, I'm going to put my information in the chat box so you can reach out to me at any time.
Thanks, John. And then John McLean.
Good afternoon, John McLean. I'm the Finance and Procurement Manager with Planning and Capital Construction at PCC. I think the biggest challenge has been working for a large organization that is relationship based. And how do we turn that into not being able to walk down the hall and chat to people, and the same with folks outside the organization, that we would meet at meetings and you would have a side, you go to the meeting and have a side chat about, we've got this project coming up you might be interested in, and kind of losing that and kind of building a new normal.
Yeah, thank you. Judy Betts.
Hi, Judy Betts, and I'm representing Hamilton Construction through my company, Betts on Training and Consulting. And it certainly has been a challenge meeting with folks and not being able to have that that personal touch. And I too am a very social person, so it's been challenging, but figuring out how to still provide some in-person training for safety things, and we're just all going to make it through.
Thank you. Lisa Bailey.
Hi, thank you for having me. This is my first meeting. So I'm Lisa Bailey. I'm with the City of Beaverton. I'm the Affordable Housing Program Coordinator. I'm 2 months new to the position. So personally, just not having that closeness with coworkers and, you know, what has been said, which is being able to just kind of lean over or, you know, ask a coworker a question, you know, waiting for that time. I think for us too, a big struggle that we're having is continuing our outreach and developing new relationships and strengthening partnerships in a time that doesn't allow for that one-on-one interaction without a computer monitor or a keyboard or something like that. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Elena Garcia-Siebold.
Hi, everybody. I am with GSI Builders, Inc., and the G stands for Garcia, the S stands for Siebold. So it's a family-owned commercial contracting business. We're on year 2. We launched last year, and we launched into a pandemic. So that's been, I mean, just launching a business during this time has been extra challenging. But I think that the biggest challenge is just dealing with safety out on the job site and trying to make sure all our materials are in Spanish and in English, and referring all of our Hispanic workers to Virginia Garcia Clinic. I mean, that's my go-to for COVID testing and or hopefully vaccines soon. I know that the vaccine isn't here yet, but when it does come here, I'm sure and confident that Virginia Garcia Health Clinic will be at the forefront of taking care and handling that as well. So that's my biggest challenge, is just, you know, launching a new business, a commercial contract, but we are launched. So in spite of all the odds, we're looking forward to 2021 in terms of additional projects. So thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. And we have Martin and Maria. Okay, Martin and Maria, if you aren't able to unmute, you can also put your information. Oh, there you are, right there. Oh, Maria and Martin are from Zero Grade Excavating and Construction, and their biggest challenge has been finding consistent and steady work while continuing to build their business and network while dealing with COVID and not being able to have in-person meetings to allow for relationships to be built. Yes, thank you so much. See here, and we have Michael Alexander.
Hi, I'm Michael Alexander with Stacy and Whitbeck. This is my first time attending the meeting, so thank you very much. Construction is such a hands-on collaborative business. Learning to do everything remotely and maintain our social distancing and safely get the work done and keep up at the same time has definitely been the biggest challenge of the year. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. And we have Ricardo Ventura. Ricardo, if you cannot unmute yourself, you can add your information to the chat. Roel Manero, hopefully I'm not butchering that. And you too can add your information to the chat if you are not able to unmute. And Rosa Martinez.
Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Rosa Martínez, su servidora, presidenta de LatinoBuilt. Para mí, uno de los cosas más grandes con las que he tenido que lidiar en estos tiempos, no pensando en mí, pero pensando en mis hijos, es the new norm de educación. Getting online and getting used to the online learning. So that's been my biggest challenge. So everybody who knows me, Rosa Martinez, president of LatinoBuilt, and one of the biggest challenge that I was sharing in Spanish is that, with everything that's happening with COVID, it's not only how do we adapt to this normal norm, but also our kids, those who have kids in school, and the new norm for them, and looking at how they're having to adapt as well. And when you have working parents like myself, and kind of managing those two, and we're all online, and we're out in rural communities and internet's not so great. So yeah, that's a challenge. On top of everything else, I was involved in, Clackamas County fires, had to evacuate my office and everything else that comes with that. So it's been a crazy year. So if we all survive this year, it's going to be amazing. So glad to be here. Glad to see everyone.
Yes, thank you. And we're going to go to Salvador.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Salvador Castañeda, and I'm an outreach coordinator, program advisor, and sometimes instructor at Portland Community College with the Swan Island Trade Center. And boy, the challenges, it's been quite a challenge with COVID-19, certainly within our department and within our trades department. In keeping our programs afloat, ensuring that we continue to offer classes because we are a technical department. That's been extremely difficult. You just can't really train via Zoom when it comes to hands-on. And so navigating that most definitely has been a challenge, as well as managing my children's homeschooling or remote online instruction as well, and all the while maintaining relationships with family and friends. So absolutely, thank you for having me.
Thank you. I wish that Roel, I think that's how you said, could introduce himself, because I would like them to be able to pronounce their name for me. But they're a safety professional at J.H. Kelly. Biggest challenge has been fighting out resolutions for the COVID issues they are faced with, rewriting procedures and policies to keep our essential workers safe. And we have also Ricardo, he is the safety officer at Zavala Corporation, and the biggest challenge has been for their workers wearing their PPE. It's hard to work outside with masks on and not being used to the new normal. Yes, I feel you. Let's go on to, and I really hope I don't butcher this one, but I think it's Cheyenne.
Cheyenne Gutierrez. Hi, yes, I am a senior career and housing access coordinator at Latino Network and career coach. And I would say that the biggest, well, there is a list, but the biggest challenge that we have faced with our participants in the workforce development is definitely the easy access to technology and learning technology in a different language. So there's different layers of challenges to even try to apply for a job and during COVID. So yeah, there are several challenges.
Oh, true. So
starting
true.
with
Thank
technology for sure.
Yes. Thank you. And off to Stephanie Flores.
Hello, everyone. For me, I think our biggest challenge, I'm with Ruby Heating and Cooling, is just growing pains. We kind of opened up in the start of all this COVID. And I think just like knowing when we needed to hire someone, but also making sure we had enough work for them. So just kind of those growing pains, dealing with those.
Thank you. Stephen Wood.
Hi, everybody. Steve Wood with Stacy Woodback, first time caller, first time company with LatinoBuilt. We're excited to be here. Talking a little bit more about the Red Line project here in a minute with TriMet. But I think the biggest challenge for us is the guys and gals that are building our work out in the field, keeping them focused despite the election, COVID, fires, and just all around a tense year. So I can't wait till this year's over and we can get everybody back together. Thank you.
Thank you. Tiffany Penson.
Hi. So my name is Tiffany Penson, City of Portland. The biggest challenge I think is staying engaged, especially if you are an in-person type of person, and that the work that I do at the city is relational. So being in person and meeting is really important. But more importantly, it's been really hard as far as running the mayor's youth program, is finding opportunities for our youth to be engaged. And that is really troublesome because idle time is not good. So that's what I'm most concerned about. And on another note, it's glad to see all the PCC people attend the meeting too. Good job.
Thank you. Yanni.
Hello, everyone. This challenge is definitely that. I mean, we have so many projects that they've been delayed due to all what's going on, and definitely that's the biggest challenge that we're facing, though. Thank you.
Thank you. And Frank Alejandro.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Okay, wonderful. Good afternoon, everyone. It's really good to see everyone. Yes, so my name is Frank Elizondo. I am the Business Development Officer for WANA Credit Union. We service Clatsop, Columbia, and Washington County. And like a lot of folks have said, you know, the physical interaction, the coming to the LatinoBuilt office once a month, you know, for our membership committee meetings, all those things I miss, and I'm looking forward to getting back to them. On a professional note, the biggest challenge for me this year has been staff, has been finding bilingual help to help me here in the credit union. We have just deployed our I-10 lending program for folks who use an I-10 and not a social security number. And as you can imagine, the phone is ringing off the hook. So we are in desperate need of help. If anyone knows anyone looking to get into the banking business, please pass along my information. Thank you, Leanne.
Thank you. And we also have Alejandro.
Hello, everybody. This is Alejandro Guerra with my Oregon painting. My biggest challenge is having my guys on the field, like wearing all the PPP, safety, like the mask, the glove, hand washing, all that. It's kind of getting all that, like every day, making sure they're doing feel comfortable. That's one of the biggest challenge for me working in different projects. Thank you. Nice to see everybody.
Yes. I think I got everybody, but if I have missed anybody or if there is somebody on a phone that doesn't have a name, please, it's your opportunity to unmute and introduce yourself and your challenge this year.
Hi, everybody. It's Nick Gervais calling with Turner Construction Company. For us, it's echo everybody that's already been on the call. The challenge of not being together and growing the relationships and building new relationships. As well as the challenges of having folks at home with their children and trying to figure out all the different logistics that everybody's been able to actually really thrive to. It's been great as far as new ideas. A lot of new ideas have spurred up, and we're taking a challenge just like everybody else. So glad to be part of the group.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, yes, this is Josh Vera with Vera Construction.
Oh, hi, Josh.
Hey, long time no see to a lot of you guys. I apologize. Been busy. We also had to evacuate. That was one challenge. A lot of people said a lot of important things. One main thing is the loss of relatives. Because of COVID, no one knew we were going to lose stepfather, people that we haven't seen in years, but really close to us. That is one of the heaviest things to our hearts. Maybe not to our immediate family, but I know my mom suffered a lot this year. Going to people's homes, people who have lost their family, relatives, people that have, their parents living at home. It's not a challenge for us, but we kind of have to be, have more precaution of what we do, what we touch, put plastic up, just being aware of people's health, something that we didn't take, into consideration a lot. It's not a challenge, but definitely, eye-opening. And like Rosa said, if we can make it through this year, at least the silver lining is we're going to be stronger. And I just want to, let everybody know on this call that, I'm proud of you guys for sticking through it. I know there's a couple new business owners who just launched. Congratulations. It is going to get better. Trust me, been there, done that. And you fail. And in life, it's not about failing. It's about how you come back. So I'm proud of you guys. I'm glad to hear people saying their stories. And this is our 7th year. So I'm really proud of being LatinoBuilt, and I'm here to help. We do general construction, commercial, residential. Like I said, we did have to evacuate. I did miss a couple of meetings, but we're back, baby. We're stronger than ever. So congratulations to everybody for being on this phone call. Good step forward.
Thank you so much. Okay. And as it loads for me, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce a Latina nonprofit leader in our community and the first Latinx member of Portland City Council, Carmen Rubio.
Thank you, Leanna. And thank you everyone for the invitation to speak with you today. It's an incredible honor to be here with all of you at LatinoBuilt at your quarterly meeting. And looking around, it's nice to see some familiar faces out there as well.
Hola y muchas gracias por la invitación para hablar con ustedes. Es un honor increíble estar en la reunión de LatinoBuilt con ustedes hoy.
This is my first time here, and I'm really excited to continue to build our relationship and also to build a vision together for an economic and socially thriving Latino community, including specifically Latino business community in the Portland metro area.
Es mi primera vez aquí y estoy emocionada de continuar construyendo nuestra relación y también construir juntos nuestra visión de una comunidad latina económica y socialmente próspera, incluyendo la comunidad de empresas latinas en la área de Portland Metro.
And it's been a challenging time for small businesses and also for our community. And your introductions outlining your challenges really drove this home.
Ha sido un momento desafiante para las pequeñas empresas y también para nuestra comunidad, así como me inspira verlos a todos trabajando juntos hoy. Y lo que han dicho hoy en el principio de la junta me ha dado cuenta más de eso.
And so far, 2020, as was mentioned before, has been a resounding call for change in the way that things operate, that institutions operate, and the way that they represent us. We see it in a lot of things. We see it in the protests, we see it in the diversity of candidates that are running for office, and also in the workforce and the businesses that make this city run.
Hasta ahora, el año 2020 ha sido este rotundo llamado al cambio en la forma en que nuestras instituciones operan y nos representan. Lo vemos en las protestas, lo vemos en la diversidad de candidatos que se postulan para cargos públicos y también en los conductores, la fuerza laboral y las empresas que hacen correr esta ciudad.
And this is why organizations like LatinoBuilt are so important and are influential on systems, because we as Latinos are setting the standard and determining for ourselves who represents us and what our values are and what economic opportunity needs to look like in our own communities.
Y es por eso que organizaciones como LatinoBuilt son tan importantes, porque nosotros como latinos estamos estabilizando el estándar y determinando por nosotros mismos quién nos representa, cuáles son nuestros valores, ingredientes y cómo deben verse las oportunidades económicas en nuestras propias comunidades.
And there's no more important time for us to come together than right now. We're in the midst of this worldwide pandemic, but we're also experiencing a lot of exhaustion from structural racism and social and economic inequality that have been upheld by systems that do not represent us nor value Black or brown lives or livelihoods a lot of the time.
Y no hay un momento más importante para unirnos como es ahora. Estamos experimentando una pandemia mundial, pero también estamos experimentando el agotamiento espiritual y literalmente físico del racismo estructural y la desigualdad social y económica sostenida por sistemas que no nos representan ni valoran las vidas o medios de las vidas de la gente de color.
And to be blunt, it's also a very hard time for our community because we're still bearing the brunt of a lot of terrible anti-immigrant policies. And these cause many of our either families or friends or coworkers or employees and employers to live in fear or to be separated from loved ones.
Es un momento muy difícil para nuestra comunidad porque también seguimos soportando la peor parte de todos los terribles políticas anti-inmigrantes del presidente de nuestra nación. Políticas que hacen que muchos de nuestras familias y amigos vivan con miedo o se separen de sus seres queridos.
And in my work at Latino Network right now, we're seeing unprecedented increases of fear and anxiety in our communities about what's going to happen in the future, about things that have happened over the last several years, even in our very littlest children, and a lot of declining trust in our institutions and leaders to keep us safe.
En mi trabajo en LatinoBuilt, Latino Network, estamos viendo un aumento sin precedentes de años pasados en trauma, miedo, ansiedad y en nuestras comunidades, incluso nuestros niños más pequeños, y una disminución de la confianza en nuestras instituciones y líderes para mantenernos a salvo.
And like a lot of you have mentioned, you know, the impact of COVID is real in our workplaces and in our communities, and rates in our community in particular are climbing here and across the country, and our small businesses are hard hit, and our families are bearing the brunt of this.
Y todo esto está sucediendo mientras las tasas de COVID en las comunidades latinas se están recuperando aquí en todo el país. Y nuestras pequeñas empresas se ven muy afectadas, especialmente las empresas propiedades de minorías, y nuestras familias están soportando la peor parte.
And I know that these things are hard. We all know these things, and these things are hard to hear over and over again, you know, on the news, or that it's what we all talk about, or to feel the economic and health impacts of these things. But I say these things not to be dramatic or negative, but actually to pay respect to all of you, and to all of the businesses and the workers who continue to show up and keep focused on what your goals are, despite it all, and to move our vision forward to build our future.
Sé que todas estas cosas son difíciles de escuchar una y otra vez en las noticias, o sentir los impactos económicos de la salud de estas cosas. Pero digo todas estas cosas no para ser dramáticas o negativas, sino para mostrar respeto a usted y a nuestra comunidad, que continúan apreciando y a pesar de todo, para hacer avanzar nuestra visión y esperar para construir el futuro.
And we're all choosing to activate and focus on our future and answer the call for doing things differently or in a new way, in different ways. And for me, that call to action was to run for elected office. And it's something I never thought I would do, but nevertheless, I did it.
Estamos eligiendo activar nuestras comunidades y responder al llamado al camino de diferentes maneras. Y para mí, responder a este llamado a la acción fue postular para un cargo electivo, algo que nunca pensaría que podría hacer.
But the journey to public office for me did not begin with my campaign necessarily. It began for me with my family. When my grandparents came to the United States, to this country, in hopes of a better life for their children.
Pero mi camino hacia un cargo público no comenzó con mi campaña. Para mí comenzó cuando mis abuelos arriesgaron todo para venir a Estados Unidos con la esperanza de una vida mejor para sus hijos.
And some of you may have already heard me talk about my family before, but their sacrifice was really my start. And perhaps like some of you, or like a lot of you, and other immigrant families who do the same thing for their children now.
A lo mejor muchos de ustedes ya me han escuchado hablar de mi familia, pero su sacrificio fue realmente mi comienzo. Tal vez como para algunos de ustedes, como tantas otras familias inmigrantes que ahora hacen lo mismo por sus hijos.
My grandfather Miguel came to Texas from Durango, Mexico, as a bracero laborer in the 1940s, and then later my grandmother Dolores joined him in Texas.
Mi abuelo Miguel vino de Texas desde Durango, México, para trabajar como bracero en la década de los 1940, y más tarde mi abuela Dolores se unió a su familia.
And after many years of migrating from Texas and New Mexico to Northern California, then to Oregon with 11 children, my grandparents arrived at the labor camps in the hills of North Plains and settled there. And that's where my mom met my father, who was from Chihuahua.
Después de años de migrar desde Texas y Nuevo México, desde el norte de California, luego a Oregon, con 11 hijos, mis abuelos maternos llegaron para quedarse en los campos de trabajo en las colinas de North Plains y se estabilizaron ahí, donde mi madre conocía a mi padre, que era de Chihuahua.
And growing up, we didn't have a lot of money, but we had a lot of love and laughter in our large extended family. And despite the challenges my grandparents and my parents experienced as a migrant family in Oregon at that time, they taught me and my cousins about persistence, about generosity, and about taking care of one another and respect for hard work.
Al crecer no teníamos mucho dinero, pero sí mucho amor y risa en nuestra gran familia extendida. Y a pesar de los desafíos que mis abuelos y mis padres experimentaron como familia mexicana en Oregon, me enseñaron sobre la persistencia y la generosidad, la ciudad mutua y el respeto por el trabajo duro.
And I remember my abuelo telling me, we used to call him Pa, that while people could always take things from us, no one could ever take away our good name and our good reputation. So we should always take pride in working hard.
Recuerdo que mi abuelo me decía que si bien la gente siempre podía quitarnos cosas, nadie podía quitarnos nuestra buena reputación, por lo que deberíamos ser orgullosos de trabajar duro.
And but also along with these times of love and family, they also experienced racism and discrimination and sometimes exploitation by some of the folks that they worked for. And because of their struggles, I learned at a very young age about injustice and not settling for less because of who we were.
Pero junto con momentos de amor y esperanza también experimentamos racismo, discriminación y incluso a veces explotación. Debido a sus luchas aprendí a una edad temprana sobre la injusticia y no me conformé con menos por quienes éramos.
And my parents and my tios and tias and Aman and Pa were always helping neighbors, volunteering at church or at some community activity. And my dad and his brother, my Theo Andy, before and after work and on weekends, they were musicians, and they were also Spanish radio DJs at 1360 KUIK in Hillsborough for about 25 years.
Mis padres, tíos y tías y mis abuelos, mamá y papá, siempre estaban ayudando a los vecinos como voluntarios en la iglesia o en la actividad comunitaria. Y mi padre y su hermano, mi tío Andrés, antes y después del trabajo y los fines de semana eran músicos y locutores españoles en el 1360 KUIK.
And on weekends, I just remember growing up going to where they would play at bodas and quinceañeras and other gatherings, or on Sundays when they were on the radio, and my cousins and I would call into the radio station just to dedicate each other's songs, just to hear my dad and my tío say our names on the radio. It's a very big deal for us.
Nuestros fines de semana estuvieron llenos de música en bodas, quinceañeras y otras reuniones. Los amigos, mis primos y yo llevábamos a la estación para dedicarnos canciones de Ramón Ayala y Selena para escuchar a nuestros papás y tíos decir nuestros nombres en la radio.
And after high school, I followed my abuelo's advice and worked hard to earn a scholarship to University of Oregon, where I became very politically active and interested in community development and policy.
Después de la secundaria, seguí el consejo de mi abuelo y trabajé duro para tener una beca para la Universidad de Oregon. donde me volví políticamente activa y interesada en el desarrollo y las políticas comunitarias.
And when I think back, it was really these early experiences that really created a foundation for me and led me to work for elected officials, and also led me to work in building community and creating access to education in Latino and immigrant communities.
Cuando pienso en la perspectiva, fueron estas primeras experiencias que me llevaron a trabajar para las fundaciones eléctricos progresistas y el trabajo de construir y poder accesar la educación en las comunidades de inmigrantes y latinos.
And for just 2 more months until December, I'm very proud to be still the executive director of Latino Network. We're a culturally specific nonprofit that works to improve the lives of more than 8,000 Latino youth and families every single year in Oregon. And this has been some of the most fulfilling work of my life.
I'm sorry, my internet was going out for a minute there. Y durante los 2 meses más hasta diciembre, estoy muy orgullosa de ser la directora ejecutiva de Latino Network, una organización sin fines de lucro, culturalmente específica que trabaja para mejorar las vidas de más de 8,000 jóvenes y familias latinas para el año de Oregon, para cada año en Oregon. Y este llamado ha sido el trabajo más satisfactorio de mi vida hasta ahora.
And when I started at Latino Network nearly 11 years ago, we were a very different organization. We had a small, very dedicated staff and a budget. And you could kind of say we were like a startup small business. We had just about 5 staff, and we were working out of a house we rented as an office. And we had a budget of about $500,000.
Cuando comencé en Latino Network hace casi 11 años, éramos una organización muy diferente, con un personal y un presupuesto pequeño y dedicados. Se podía decir que éramos como una pequeña empresa de nueva creación. Con aproximadamente 5 empleados trabajando en una casa alquiler, teníamos un presupuesto de alquiler de $500.
And over the last 11 years, through a lot of planning, hard work, great ideas from the community and staff, and building a strong reputation for results and community impact, we've grown to become a $12 million organization with more than 140 staff. And this has enabled us to serve, as I mentioned before, over 8,000 Latino and immigrant children and families last year in the Tri-County area.
Durante los últimos 11 años, a través de la planificación, el trabajo arduo y construcción de una sólida reputación y marca los resultados y el impacto en la comunidad. Hemos creado hasta convertirnos en una organización de $12 millones con más de 140 empleados, y esto nos permite servir a más de 80,000 niños y familias latinos y inmigrantes el año pasado en los condados de Washington, Multnomah y Clackamas.
And our employees work in programs ranging from early childhood to K-12, to housing assistance and youth violence prevention, to parent engagement, to advocacy.
I'm so sorry, Carmen. I didn't have that section in here.
Should I keep going?
Yeah.
But the truth is that this work is so fulfilling because holding the trust of the community is a privilege, and it's one that we should never take for granted.
Thank you. La verdad es que hacer este tipo de trabajo es muy gratificador porque tener la confianza de la comunidad es un privilegio y nunca deberíamos de dar nunca lo deberíamos de dar por dado.
And I came to this realization early in my career, and some of you have heard me tell the story I'm about to tell before or just now during my campaign, so I apologize that if you've heard this already, but I feel like it's an important one to share.
Me di cuenta desde el principio de mi carrera y es posible que algunos de ustedes ya hayan escuchado contrario a esta historia durante mi campaña, así que me disculpas si ya lo han escuchado.
When I was a young staffer, one of my first big jobs was working in the office of Commissioner Serena Cruz at Multnomah County. And she made history by winning her seat back in 1998 as the first Latina ever to be elected to Multnomah County Commission at that time.
Cuando era miembro del personal joven, uno de mis primeros trabajos importantes fue trabajar en la oficina de comisionada Serena Cruz en el condado de Multnomah, quien hizo historia de recuperar su puesto en el 1998 como la primera latina en ser elegida para la comisión del condado.
And it mattered so much to me to see someone from our own community run and win, but I really had no idea about the true impact of that until one afternoon when I got a call from a woman at work, and her name was Señora Morales.
Me importaba mucho ver a alguien de nuestra propia comunidad correr y ganar, pero realmente no tenía idea de su verdadero impacto hasta una tarde cuando respondí una llamada en el trabajo de una mujer llamada Señora Morales.
And she wanted to speak to someone in Spanish that could help her with some court documents that she had. And it was something that we really didn't do in our office.
Quería hablar con alguien en español para ayudarle con algunos documentos judiciales, algo fuera de nuestro carril.
And so I tried to redirect her to the right office, not once, but like 3 times. And she kept insisting that she wanted to talk to us. So she finally just interrupted me when I was trying to, again, redirect her. And she said, no, she needed to talk to this specific office of Commissioner Cruz, porque ustedes me comprenden, because you understand me.
Traté de dirigirla a la oficina correcta, no una vez, sino 3 veces. Pero ella insistió en que hablara con nosotros. Finalmente dijo que no, que necesitaba hablar con nosotros, con esta oficina específicamente de la Comisión Cruz, porque nosotros la comprendíamos. Su oficina me comprende.
The thing was that Señora Morales didn't even live in Multnomah County. And in fact, she lived nowhere near it. But she called our office, which was over 200 miles away, to talk to someone who could understand her.
La cuestión era que la señora Morales no vivía en el condado de Multnomah. Ella no vivía cerca de nosotros, pero llamaba a la oficina 200 millas de distancia para hablar con alguien que podía entenderla.
And understanding her meant that she wanted to be treated with dignity and respect, and not to feel condescended to, but to be taken seriously.
Y comprenderla significaba que quería ser tratada con dignidad y respeto, y no sentir condicionalmente, sino que la tomaran en serio.
And in that instant, I saw my grandmother, and I thought about my grandparents and my tíos and tías and what they had to endure so that their kids, all of us, could have a better life. And then I understood to my very core just how important it is for people, especially our people, to have the dignity that they deserve and to feel seen and to have a voice and a say in our own futures and to see ourselves reflected in business and in government and in the community.
En ese momento pensé en mi abuela. Pensé en mis abuelos, padres y tíos y tías, en lo que tuvieron que soportar para que yo pudiera tener una vida mejor. Entonces comprendía hasta el fondo de lo importante que es para mí las personas, nuestra gente. Tener dignidad, merecimientos, sentirnos vistos y tener una voz y voto en nuestro propio futuro y verlos reflejados en los negocios y en el gobierno y en la comunidad.
And this is why it's important to have, Representative Teresa Alonso Leon in Salem, or Councilor Juan Carlos Gonzalez on Metro Council, and that it's also why it's important to have organizations like LatinoBuilt advocating on behalf of Latino constructions and businesses, because this region is long overdue in providing our community and other BIPOC communities its fair share in economic opportunities and recognizing our contributions.
Cuán importante es tener la representación de Teresa Alfonso León en Salem o cualquier Juan Carlos González en el Consejo de Metro. Y cuán es importante tener organizaciones como LatinoBuilt, que abogan en nombre de las empresas de construcción latinas, porque esta ciudad tiene muchas otras en brindarle a nuestra comunidad su parte juntas las oportunidades económicas. Nuestras voces y nuestra representación son importantes.
Our voices and our representation matters. Our city, our county, our region, and our state, they need us. They need our collective voices, our economic and cultural vitality, our workforce, our experiences, because collectively, we bring so much to the table.
Nuestra ciudad, condado, región, estado nos necesitan nuestras voces colectivas, nuestra visibilidad económica y cultural, necesitan nuestros proyectos laborales y nuestras experiencias, porque colectivamente traemos mucho a la mesa.
And we have countless examples, you know them and I know them, that show us that when Latinos are engaged, real results and change happens.
Y tenemos innumerables ejemplos que nos muestran cuando los latinos están comprometidos, ocurren resultados y cambios realmente.
We know our Latino communities are resilient, and we know that our communities are undeterred in our desire for a better life for our families and for economic opportunities, and to be treated with dignity and deserving of fairness and justice.
Sabemos que nuestras comunidades latinas son resistentes y nos inmutan en nuestro deseo de una vida mejor por nuestras familias, oportunidades económicas y ser tratados con dignidad y merecedores de la justicia.
And we know our Latino communities produce entrepreneurs and innovators and leaders. And our leaders are everywhere. We're starting businesses and we're leading schools and we're running for office. We're a huge economic force.
Sabemos que nuestras comunidades latinas producen empresarios, innovadores y líderes. Nuestros líderes son muchos. Estamos iniciando empresas y liderando escuelas. Estamos realizando compañías y postulando para cargos electos, desde juntas escolares hasta el consejo municipal. Y estamos ganando.
And more importantly, we know our numbers are growing. Oregon's Latino population has grown by more than 72% in the last 20 years. And Latino children are now nearly a quarter of all the students total in the state for K-12 schools.
Y lo que más importante es sabemos que nuestros números están creciendo. La población latina de Oregon ha crecido en más del 72% en los últimos 20 años. Y los niños latinos ahora comprenden casi una cuarta parte de todos los estudiantes de las escuelas desde K al 12.
And I don't know about you, but I think that's amazing. And these numbers are real people who have children and teens and adults who are restaurant workers and bus drivers and healthcare providers and construction workers, educators, and more.
No sé ustedes, pero yo creo que esto es increíble. Estos números son personas reales, que son trabajadores, agricultores de restaurantes, conductores de autobuses, provienen de atención médica, trabajadores en la construcción, dueños de negocios y educadores.
And the next generation of young people in our community are fearless about advocating for our rights and not settling for less than we deserve. And they're fearless about demanding change.
Y la próxima generación de jóvenes no tiene miedo de defender nuestros derechos y no conformarse con menos de lo que merecemos. No tienen miedo a exigir cambios.
And all these things give me a tremendous amount of hope and excitement about what we can all achieve together if we're strategic, if we're coordinated, and if we are strongly united.
Todas estas cosas me dan una enamorada cantidad de esperanza y entusiasmo sobre todo lo que podemos lograr juntos. Somos estratégicos, coordinados y fuertemente unidos.
And so about a year ago, or actually a year and a half ago, I got a call from my former boss, who was the now deceased Commissioner Nick Fish. And I know that some of you knew him very well.
Aproximadamente hace un año recibí una llamada de mi ex jefe. El ahora fallecido comisionador Nick Fish me incitó encargándome a conseguir la posibilidad de construirme para un puesto libre en el Consejo Municipal.
I forgot that part. He strongly encouraged me to consider running for the open seat at Portland City Council. And he reminded me about all the things that I care about and about the time that we're living in. And I thought about this and about my family story and about, you know, the experiences I had in my early career with Senora Morales and the nonprofit I work for and the families we work with, and how our Latino community in this city needs our voices heard, and not just during campaign season, but all those times in between when decisions are made that affect our jobs and our lives.
Me recordó todas las cosas que me importaban y los tiempos en los que estábamos. Pensé en la historia de mi familia, de la señora Morales, sobre nuestros empleados sin fines de lucro y las familias inmigrantes en nombre del cual trabajamos. Y el determinado temor en el que ha estado viviendo durante los últimos 4 años bajo la misma administración.
And so I decided to do it. I said yes. And, you know, a year and a half later, on the night of May 19th, I won the primary election with 67% of the vote. And so I'll be sworn in this January as the first Latina ever to be elected in the to the city council in the history of Portland.
Y entonces dije que sí, y el año después, la noche del 19 de mayo, gané las elecciones primarias con el 70% de votos. Este enero juraré como la primera latina en ser elegida para el Consejo Municipal de la historia de Portland.
No pressure, right? But truthfully, I'm just one example of many stories in this room, this virtual room today, because we all know that the truth is it's not just us. We're not nearly enough. I mean, it starts with us, but we need more of us to really move the dial. And we need more of us on city council or leading bureaus or starting businesses and to be in decision-making places and tables.
Sin presión, ¿verdad? Pero sinceramente, esto es solo un ejemplo y de muchas historias que hay en esta sala virtual hoy en el día. Pero todos sabemos que la verdad es que solo nosotros no es suficiente para mover el día.
And we need everyone also in this virtual room to strengthen our movement, to ensure true representations, to build strong coalitions and demand equality, because we all deserve it. Our community deserves it. And really, because you have helped to literally build this state and this economy.
Necesitamos que todos en esta sala virtual fortalezcan nuestros movimientos para asegurar una verdadera representación y construir conexiones fuertes que exigen igualdad, porque la merecemos y porque nosotros y realmente ustedes hemos ayudado a construir este estado y esta economía.
And I want to be here to work with you in doing that. I ran on a platform calling for a change in representation to ensure that all our voices are included and at the table.
Y yo quiero estar aquí para trabajar con ustedes haciendo eso, correr una plataforma pensando en un cambio en la representación, asegurándome que todas nuestras voces estén incluidas en la mesa.
And I also ran because I care about ensuring our economy, including small businesses, that they survive and revive post this COVID time, that we have affordable places to live and buy, with jobs in the city that pay living wages.
También me postulé porque me importa asegurar que nuestra economía incluya las pequeñas empresas, sobreviva y reviva y que tengamos lugares libres para vivir, con trabajos en esta ciudad que paguen salarios dignos.
And that we have safe streets and sidewalks, access to transit and jobs, that our homeless population gets the wraparound support they need to finally have a place for them to live and call home. And also so our families and neighbors can enjoy our parks, and that we have strong schools and healthy neighborhoods, and that we feel safe and respected.
Que tengamos calles y aceras seguras, acceso al tránsito y trabajos, y que nuestras publicaciones dan hogar recibo el apoyo integral que necesita para tener un lugar al que llamar hogar. Y también para que nuestras familias y vecinos puedan disfrutar de nuestros parques, escuelas sólidas y vecindarios saludables y sentirse seguros y respetados.
And all these things are important, and I have so much to learn. There's so much I don't know, but I really can't do it without learning from you. And it's my sincerest desire to learn about your businesses and about the issues you care about and about how our city can support you to thrive.
Todas estas cosas son importantes y tengo tanto que aprender, pero no puedo hacerlo sin ti. Es mi más sincero deseo aprender sobre sus negocios, los problemas que les interesan y cómo nuestra ciudad puede ayudarlo a prosperar.
Because when you thrive and your businesses thrive, this community shines and grows, and it becomes a place for all of us to live and raise families safely, and where our cultures and identities and neighborhoods are celebrated and embraced.
Porque cuando ustedes prosperan, esta comunidad brilla y crece y se convierte en un hogar para todos nosotros, para vivir, para crecer familia de manera segura y donde nuestras culturas y identidades son celebradas y aceptadas.
So I hope I see this today as hopefully the beginning of a strong partnership, and I hope to be your partner, and that over the course of this first year of my very first term in office, that I'm able to be a partner to you in helping to build out your vision.
Así que yo veo hoy como el comienzo de una asociación solidaria. Y espero que durante este primer año de mi primer mandato pueda ser su socia en la construcción de esta visión.
And so please, I also offer, please call me to share your ideas, invite me to learn about your businesses and introduce me to what's important to you. And as a diverse community, we all know that we may not always agree on every single issue, but I know that we do share a common vision, and I guarantee you that you will always be received with respect and a listening ear, and my staff and I will do everything we can to ensure that your voices are valued and that you are engaged.
Por favor, llámame para compartir tus ideas, invítame a tus negocios y preséntame lo que es importante para usted. Le garantizo que siempre será recibido con respeto y un oído atento. Y mi personal y yo haremos todo lo posible para garantizar que sus valores, sus voces se compartan.
And so that hopefully at some future date, we'll all be back here, maybe in person together again, celebrating successes that our community has together. And I just want to thank you again for the invitation today. It's been a real honor to be invited to speak with you. Thank you.
Gracias realmente a todos por la invitación hoy. Ha sido un honor estar con ustedes.
There's definitely a need for Latino representation in government, and we want to congratulate you on your appointment and your role as our newest advocate on this level. Thank you for spending time with LatinoBuilt and our members today. There's lots of work that needs to get done, right? Unfortunately, our program has been running a bit long, and we are very conscious of everybody's time. So today we are not going to be able to open up for questions for Carmen, but if you guys have burning questions, please do send them to myself or put them in the chat, and we will make sure that we will compile a list to give to Carmen to answer out there. So thank you so much, Carmen.
Thank you so much.
To expedite our program, because we know that you all have things to do, I'm sure children and dinners to eat, we are going to shift our program to just be in English. So if that gives a little bit of a relief for everybody who is presenting, we will still have all of the materials in Spanish and English, but we have also realized that most of our audience today, or I believe that everybody in our audience is understanding of English at this time. So without any more introduction, I'm going to hand it over to TriMet.
Thank you, Liana. If you could allow me to share my screen. Thank you.
There you go.
Okay. And I will actually be doing my presentation in Spanish and hoping that you can follow along with the translated information. Mi nombre es Amparo Agosto y yo trabajo con TriMet en el proyecto de tren ligero del Corredor Suroeste. El proyecto es una coordinación con TriMet, Metro, el Departamento de Transporte de Oregon, el Condado de Washington y las ciudades de Durham, Portland y Tualatin. Como hemos visto, el corredor suroeste está creciendo rápidamente y se espera que para el 2040 hayan unos 400,000 habitantes y 260,000 puestos de trabajo en la región. El proyecto apoya el crecimiento al planear para el futuro con una estrategia de desarrollo equitativo regional con hasta 950 unidades para viviendas accesibles firmadas por los compañeros del proyecto. También estamos apoyando la economía local, ya que el proyecto traería aproximadamente 28,000 empleos locales y la región tendría acceso a 1.3 mil millones de dólares de fondos federales. También apoya el clima y el medio ambiente. Este es nuestro sistema de vías regional actualmente. El proyecto extendería la línea verde conectando al centro de Portland, Lloyd Center, Gateway y las otras líneas con Tiger y la ciudad de Tualatin. Esta ruta de 11 millas tiene 13 estaciones, 7 en Portland, 8 en Tiger y 1 en Tualatin, con un tiempo de viaje de 30 minutos entre el corredor de Portland y Bridgeport Village y 37,500 viajes diarios para el 2035. El proyecto también incluye 10 millas de banquetas nuevas y 6 millas de instalaciones mejoradas para bicicletas, incluyendo una vía de 1.5 millas de uso exclusivo para el transporte público y hasta 2,000 espacios de estacionamientos Park and Ride. Este es el calendario del proyecto. Actualmente estamos dando información sobre la fase de diseño del proyecto y estamos pidiendo más comentarios con la comunidad y tenemos lo que se conoce como el reporte de diseño conceptual. Está disponible en línea Lo invitamos a que nos den sus comentarios, visítenos en línea, revise el diseño de conceptos y díganos qué piensa acerca de estos diseños y acompáñenos a las juntas comunitarias. Y a continuación los dejo con mi compañero Aiden. Él presentará en inglés sobre el programa de empresas en desventaja y la diversidad de la fuerza laboral en TriMet.
Thank you so much, Amparo. Yes, thank you so much, Amparo. Thank you everyone for having us today. I apologize for having my video off due to internet connection troubles. Next slide, please. Perfect. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about TriMet's commitments. For those of you that are not familiar with TriMet, TriMet values strengthening small businesses while we expand our transit systems. And so for this project, we are absolutely focused on increasing as many worker and business opportunities to our Black, Indigenous, and people of color and women so that we can have a workforce that truly reflects the demographics of this project. Next slide, please. So I'll just briefly cover this because I'm sure many of you know what a DBE is, but this project will be a DBE focus for disadvantaged business enterprises, which are small for-profit businesses owned and controlled by at least 51% of individuals that are both socially and economically disadvantaged. And here are the dollar thresholds that are listed below. Next slide, please. For this project, we'll also have a workforce training and hiring program goals, which will mean that for every apprenticeable trade, at least 20% of those labor hours must be worked by apprentices. Again, this is a 5-year project, so this will give a lot of opportunities for apprentices to be able to journey out. And we will focus on having as many females and minority apprentices as possible. These are prevailing wage jobs, so these are high-paying jobs. Next slide. Currently, we have 2 design contracts going on for this project, one for transit design and one for urban design. I just wanted to give everyone an idea of how those DBE goals are going on the design projects to give you an idea of what's going to be happening in the future. So for the transit design project, as you can see, we have a 20% DBE goal, and the contract is currently over goal. They're at 9.6 million awarded to DBEs. There are 33 DBEs on that project out of 50. So that is 66% of the business sub-consultants on this project are DBEs. And then for the urban design project, it's going along similar. It has a 19.5% goal, and there are about 10 out of 24 DBEs on that project. So as we start to move into the construction phases, hopefully if the bond measure passes, we'll be moving into multiple CMGC contracts. We're expecting over 28,000 jobs, both direct and indirect, being created. And we'll be meeting anywhere from 10 to 20% DBE utilization on the contract overall. So that is hundreds of millions of dollars going to DBE contractors, as well as workforce of females and minorities. And if you have any questions, please let Amparo and I know. There's our contact information. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, you guys. We really appreciate it. and great partnership members of LatinoBuilt as well. It is my now pleasure to introduce one of our newest partner members, Stacy Whitbeck.
Well, thanks. Faye, are you on still? Okay. But this is Steve Wood again with Stacy Whitbeck. We're excited about the Red Line project. It's kind of a mini version of the big work that's coming out that Aiden elaborated on just a moments ago on the Southwest Corridor. We have several of the same type of scopes of work. We have a 20% DBE goal. Right now, we're in the middle of pre-construction. We're waiting for the next set of documents, which we call the 90% documents, and we'll use those likely as the final pricing set that hasn't been quite determined yet between us and TriMet, but we're working through that. The flyer that's available that I think LatinoBuilt has kind of gives you some of the scopes of work. If you can push that out to your membership, that would be great. And it's just your classic heavy civil construction scopes of work with a couple minor exceptions. We do have some building work out in Hillsboro as part of an operator layover facility where the red line will extend to. There'll be some layover for some operators of the light rail vehicles. And construction would start next summer. And really getting after it kind of January, February of 2021. I know it's out there, but we just wanted to kind of get all these scopes of work out there on everybody's radar screen that, hey, we're going to be reaching out to you. And with the focus obviously on DBE, we still have the same workforce goals that we try to meet and exceed for diversity in the workforce, apprenticeship goals, diversity and gender diversity in those apprenticeships as well. So we're really excited about it. And we look forward to connecting with many of you in the future over the coming months. Bid packages would probably be going out as early as next year, first quarter, probably January, February. And again, we'll be in contact with LatinoBuilt to broadcast that when the time comes. And we got something a little bit more concrete, but we just wanted to kind of lay the groundwork now and say, hey, we're out there, we're coming, and reach out to Faye Birch or John L. Bell. He's another person that's part of our team, or myself or Michael Alexander as well. And we'd be happy to talk to you about the scopes of work we have on the project. So thank you very much for giving us an opportunity.
Thank you so much, Steve. We're excited for our partnership with you, and we will, Dulce will actually get out the flyers and your guys' information out this week to all of our membership.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes. Next up on our list, for those of you who didn't know, we have the construction contractor board. We have both Chris Huntington and Rosa Martinez.
Hi, yes, I'm going to be doing introductions and I'll make it short and sweet. And those who know me, I am Spanglish, so I'm going to go between Spanish and English. Es un placer presentarles a ustedes a Chris Huntington. Y quiero darles un poquito de la historia de nuestra conexión con Chris. Chris hace menos de un año que fue recientemente contratado con el CCB, para ustedes que conocen, todos los que tenemos una licencia por medio del CCB, me imagino que ya conocen ese departamento, y Chris vino a nosotros al comienzo de su rol como director del CCB, y a través de esa relación y de su compromiso de apoyar a nuestra comunidad latina y los todos nosotros los contratistas en el área de la construcción, por medio de esa relación y de la conexión, desde el principio, se presentó la oportunidad de una silla en la mesa de la comisión del CCB, donde aquí su servidora representa a los latinos en construcción para tener una voz en la mesa. Entonces, eso es la introducción que quisiera hacerles de Chris. And I just wanted to share briefly with you guys our history with the CCB and how we started our relationship early on with LatinoBuilt. Chris, early on in his early last year on his role as the new director for the CCB, LatinoBuilt was one of his first initial network meeting that we had with them. It was through an introduction that we had through Chris that we started this networking relationship to make sure that Latinos and small contractors had a voice with the construction CCB board. And as a connection through that relationship, a position, an opportunity came about on the CCB to have a seat as a commissioner. And through that relationship that I had early on and LatinoBuilt had with Chris, a name was thrown out there, and myself am now sitting as a commissioner at the CC board, and it's a pleasure for me to be sitting there on that commission to address the real issues that affect our small minority contracting community. So thank you, Chris, for that opportunity, and it is such a pleasure to introduce you to this group. So I will turn it over to you, Chris. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Rosa, and to Liana for coordinating this, and to LatinoBuilt for having me at your meeting tonight. I know it's late, so I'll try to make relatively quick work of this. Nothing worse than being a government bureaucrat, last on the agenda, and I'm standing between you and dinner, or worse, happy hour. So we'll make this relatively fast. But Rosa spoke absolutely correctly. LatinoBuilt was one of my initial networking meetings I made last year when I came on as director. And I was super pleased that we were able to, when an opportunity came available, to have Rosa join us on our board. And I will tell you that for those of you who don't know, the way that they do that at the legislature, those legislators on that committee sit through and they hear from about 80 different people who are going on various boards and commissions throughout that day. And so it can all kind of blend together and they can kind of start to get a little bit bored. But I got to tell you, when Rosa Martinez stood up there and said that she was a Latina woman who was owned her own construction firm and had made it a success over a very long period of time, they stood up and took notice because I was watching. So you should feel very pleased that you're being represented by her as LatinoBuilt and as the construction community on the CCB, and we're pleased to have her. Just two very quick things that I would want to communicate to you, and then hopefully there will be additional opportunities for us to continue a relationship in the future. And it's two very quick messages: who we are at the CCB and how we try to do our thing, and then what we can do to hopefully provide some value to you for you as contractors for the licensing dollars that you pay to us. For those of you who don't know, CCB has existed in Oregon in one form or another for around almost 50 years. And our role is very simple. We're here to protect consumers and also to support a fair and competitive business climate for the contractors that work in construction. So here's a little bit about how we do that. First, we issue licenses. We issue 41,000 business licenses. As of right now, there are 41,000 licensed construction firms in the state of Oregon, and we license everybody from the big multinational construction firms all the way down to sole proprietorships, and we do both commercial and residential. We enforce those licensing laws in a fair and equitable fashion. Our field investigators make about 9,000 and visit 9,000 job sites every year enforcing the construction laws. We also resolve disputes. Oregon's somewhat unique, and we have a program that allows us to get in and mediate disputes between homeowners and contractors. And then we also deliver education resources to you as contractors We deliver our own programs, but also have a catalog of education resources on our website that allow you to partake in that and become, try to help your business become more successful. And then the most important thing for us is to just be a resource for contractors. My mantra and the way that we do our work is that we want to try to make life as easy as possible for the people that are obeying and playing by the rules, and so that we can focus our time on the people that are undercutting your business by operating outside the law and potentially harming consumers. So I had some material that I've shared with you that Liana has that we will share, or that you will have later this week, that has basically 5 ways that you can try to get value for the licensing dollars that you send here to us. And because we're late, I'm just going to highlight a couple of them. And then when you get that, I'm going to encourage you. The great thing is you'll get that. It'll be electronic, and it'll have the live links in there that you can just follow, and it'll take you directly to our website where you can do some of these things and hopefully make it easier for you to do your work with us and make you more successful in your business. But just real briefly, one, please do your business with us online. The website is very it's user friendly. A lot of people use it, and 85% of the people do business online with us. If you set up an online account, it's going to make it much easier for you to interact with us and do your business with us. I want to encourage you to protect the investment that you have made in your business by being licensed. You're licensed. Many other people out there who operate outside the law are not. So I want to ask you to advertise your license. You've made an investment in your business, and that investment protects your customers. So I've provided these, and you can get them from our website if you have. I think I've provided some of these to Liana as well. We have them in both Spanish and English, and it's one of our most popular handouts. And it's something that you can actually put your own business card in, and it advertises all of the benefits of being a licensed contractor in our state. And so I want to encourage you to advertise the investment that you've made by being licensed. I want to encourage you to use our education resources. I've already mentioned that. There's a huge catalog of educational resources on our website. Hopefully in the future, we'll be able to coordinate with LatinoBuilt, as they have education programs and can coordinate that. But just want to make sure that you know that there are a lot of different options for education. And if there's something that you think is available that you think might be helpful and productive in your business, let us know, and we'll do what we can to try to get that approved so that you can get credit for something that you know is already going to help your business. I want to encourage you to take advantage of the online services that we have available. Again, this will all be here, and when you get this in the email, I hope you'll click on these links. But one of the main ones that I try to encourage people is to use eWatch. I don't know how many of you are familiar with eWatch or utilize eWatch, but I want you to sign up for it. eWatch will send you an automatic email if there's any issue with your license. If your license automatically goes into suspension for some weird paperwork reason, you're going to get an email. But more importantly, you can sign up to get an email if any of the subcontractors that you work with regularly have a problem with their license. It's one of the best ways we have of trying to keep contractors in compliance. So I want to encourage you to sign up for eWatch. Also want to encourage you to sign up for eProof, which is the way that you can have your insurer electronically file your insurance certificate. I suspend 1,800 licenses every quarter because people have had some kind of a glitch or a problem in how they file their insurance certificate. It gets lost in the mail. The insurance officer thought the contractor was going to do it. The contractor thought the insurer was going to do it. And it's just a big kind of mess. If you sign up for eProof or get your insurer to sign up for eProof, that can happen electronically, and it happens like that, super fast. I want to encourage you to make that. And then finally, related to enforcement, I want to encourage you to not be afraid of the enforcement and to actually, and rather than that, engage with our enforcement officers and assist us in enforcing the laws and making sure that other people aren't undercutting you by operating outside the law. When our investigators, if they happen on a job site, If you cooperate with them, that's going to make that go faster. If you're licensed and obeying the law, we don't want to hassle you any more than we have to. We want to get out there and find the people that are breaking the law. And I want to encourage you to report unlicensed work. One of the best, you know, I have 12 investigators. We try to cover the entire state, but there's 41,000 of you. There's a lot more of you than there are of us. And if you can assist us in reporting unlicensed activity, it's going to stop those people who undercut your work and undercut your business by operating outside the law. So you'll get this later this week. There's just some quick ways that by engaging and kind of taking a look at the resources we offer, hopefully we can provide some value to you. And just look forward to in the future being able to work closely with LatinoBuilt to try and make you successful in what you do. And please report to us how we can do a better job of serving you, because that's what we're here to do.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Chris, for sharing that. I don't know where I'm gonna begin. I'm gonna do my best to summarize all of that in Spanish for those of you that need it. So very briefly, I'm gonna transition into Spanish and I'm just gonna summarize as best as I can. So voy a tratar de traducir lo que dijo Chris, y lo voy a hacer lo más corto que se pueda. Básicamente, compartir con ustedes que el rol del CCB, bueno, el CCB ha existido de una forma o de otra durante casi 50 años, o muchos años. Entonces, el rol más importante que juega el CCB es proteger a los consumidores de Oregón y apoyar un clima de negocios justos y competitivos para los contratistas. Ese es el rol más importante del CCB. Bueno, ¿cómo lo hacen? Bueno, dan licencias y él compartió que hemos dado licencias como a 40,000 empresas de construcción, ya sea comercial, residencial, grandes, chiquitas, pequeñas, individuales. Se hacen cumplir las leyes de las licencias justas y también resuelven disputas entre propietarios y contratistas, o si ustedes tienen algún problema con su CCB, tienen que, hay ciertas áreas donde ellos pueden ayudarlos, más que nada recursos para todos los de la construcción que tienen licencia. Ofrecen servicios educativos, es bien importante que se mantengan informados, provean educación, muchas clases, y tiene muchos recursos, ¿no? Él acababa de compartir con nosotros los folletos que él tiene acerca 5 áreas que nos facilitan a nosotros a cómo trabajar con el CCB, ¿no? El objetivo es hacer la vida más simple posible para todas las empresas, para todos nosotros contratistas, que ya tenemos mucho en nuestro plato. Entonces, 5 maneras importantes. Él acaba de mostrar un folleto y este folleto está en español, que es fantástico. Apenas lo hicimos el día de hoy. Bueno, lo hizo él. Uno es manejar tu negocio del CCB más rápido y más fácil en línea, proteger tus inversiones anunciando tu licencia y protegiéndote, hace la educación, aprovechen los servicios en línea gratuitos. Toda esta información se les va a presentar a ustedes. Liana y Dulce va a estar mandando un correo electrónico con estos folletos que ustedes pueden ver. Él también anunció que hay ciertos programas que él tiene, como el eWatch, que son, se me hace que programas electrónicos donde ustedes se pueden registrar y agarrar alertas acerca de su licencia de contratistas por si tienen algo que les faltó, o su licencia está inactiva o tiene un problema, o si están trabajando con otro contratista. Es una red de información para ustedes que les manda alertas. Entonces, es mucha información, pero eso es quiero que usen el CCB como un recurso para todos ustedes. Hay personal que habla español, hay investigadores que hablan español. No tengan miedo, levanten el teléfono y marquen al CCB, comuníquense conmigo. Yo también soy su servidora. Si necesitan algo, por favor, comuníquense conmigo y ya por medio de mí hacemos la conexión. Entonces, eso es todo. I'm done. Great. Thank you, Chris, for the introduction. And I would open it up. If anybody has any questions, please let us know. Reach out through LatinoBuilt, and we're happy to make that connection. If there's any ideas that you want to bring to me and to Chris as the in the CCB as representing contractors, please reach out and let us know.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rosa, and thank you so much, Chris. It's really been eye-opening to me as well as I'm learning about all of the resources and all of the support that the CCB offers there. I will have not only this recording, but yes, all of the flyers from all of our presenters emailed out to you by the end of the week. So everyone will have that. I want to give a big thank you to Carmen for speaking today, for all of our presenters, and of course our membership as well. We really appreciate you in every way. Don't forget, if you guys need assistance, you know, whether it's technology assistance, language assistance, what have you, please reach out to us. That's why we're here. We're here to help you. One last plug for our ways to connect with us, our social channels. If you guys don't already follow us and like us and all of that good stuff. And then mark your calendars for our very next quarterly meeting, which will be January 20th in the new year. And let's hope that the new year brings great things. So thank you, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Bye. See you next year.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Bye, buenas noches.
Buenas noches, gracias.
Ya, ya se acabó la junta.
Buenas noches.
Adiós.
Adiós.
Gracias.
Me voy.